Yes, there are Christian nationalist influencers. Let me introduce you to the TheoBros.
We can't force people to have faith in Christ, but we can as a people order that.
I'd rather have a Christian monarchy than our current state of affairs.
We could argue that now is the time to arms again.
So the TheoBros are a group of mostly millennial Christian pastors and influencers. Many of them, most of them even, will tell you that they are Christian nationalists.
We are indeed Christian nationalists.
They're purposefully extreme and extremely online, so they're obviously connected to JD Vance.
There's this group called the Rockbridge Network. JD Vance was a founder. Peter Thiel is involved, and also this guy Chris Buskirk.
And then, of course, Chris Buskirk, a great friend of mine,
who was involved in American Reformer, which is kind of the unofficial magazine of the TheoBros. I think it's important to say that not all of them hold every belief. That being said, I think some common beliefs that I have encountered are that we should be repealing the 19th Amendment. They'll talk about the dead Constitution and how the Ten Commandments should take its place.
I want a Christian nation more than a republic.
I think all 10 commandments should be legislated and enforced.
Some of them talk about prison reform, and by prison reform, they mean public flogging instead of prison. Some of them talk about executing heretics. Involved in that is also execution of gay people.
But it's not just online. They're doing conferences, writing books, doing events.
One of the things that's been interesting lately is that some of their events have started to overlap with some events of more kind of mainstream politicians. And I think probably the most prominent example was the National Conservatism Conference, where you had Doug Wilson speaking at this conference.
And of course, coming to the high treachery, you were all no doubt anticipating I would address, make all our teens woke by means of chemtrails.
And you had JD Vance speaking there.
America is a nation. It is a group of people with a common history and a common future.
Now, if TheoBros are kind of the millennial posters of the Christian nationalist movement, Doug Wilson is sort of like the boomer who passed the torch.
He has sort of built his own little Christian fiefdom in Moscow, Idaho. He has this church. He has, helped to start a school, like a K through 12 school there. He has a college there, New St. Andrews College, that he's helped to found as well.
Now, it's this community in Idaho that he's built that TheoBros see as sort of a blueprint for what a Christian America could and should look like.
Creating a legal framework in which people could create intentional communities where they could build something new would be a good idea to allow people to experiment.
Just like Doug Wilson, so too do many of the other TheoBros want to do this in various places in the United States.
But he's also built this other type of blueprint for Christian nationalist influencing.
He was telling me about how he has his kids helping him produce these very slick videos.
The left is the cancer and Trump is the chemo.
He's taking some of these ideas, he's really making them for a broader audience and for a younger audience.
Now, at this point, you might ask, where are all the women?
If you asked some of these guys where the women were, they would say they're at home, like taking care of the kids.
Godly women want to feed their men. Godly women are designed to make the sandwiches. When women were granted the right to vote, we were so muddled we thought we were giving the franchise to women when we were in fact taking it away from families.
And just for the record, I think the 19th Amendment should be repealed. I think that because, first and foremost, because I'm a Christian. If we had a Christian nation and women could vote, then within 50 years we would no longer have a Christian nation.
They don't think that women should be in leadership roles. They don't think that women should be out there voicing their opinions.
As we already know, Vance holds very particular views on gender.
If you bought into an idea that it's liberating to leave an 8-week-old baby to go work 90 hours a week at Goldman Sachs, you've been had. You have women who think that truly the liberationist path is to spend 90 hours a week working in a cubicle at McKinsey instead of starting a family and having children. To me, what it is sort of a value system to replace the fact that they're all fundamentally atheist or agnostic. The people who are most deranged and most psychotic are people who don't have kids.
It's clear that they see JD Vance as someone who will help further their vision of a country that puts Christianity above all else.
I think if these guys saw one of their collaborators in the White House, it would be proof to them that all of the effort that they have made, all of the time and money that has been invested, that it was all paying off.
There's so much more to this story, including connections to Project 2025, more about the web of JD Vance and TheoBros that I can't even dream of touching on in a video like this. So go read Kira Butler's full piece at motherjones.com.